Okay, so this is our first section. So let's go through the section, and any questions, I'm going to show you Yahoo Finance. Again, you can use any website you want to find. You can look at the 10K for each company. You could find that information there, and there might be some things that Yahoo Finance doesn't have, and you have to go to the 10K to find. So section 1 is financial statement analysis. So this is the, if you remember, section 1 is going to be chapter 3 and 4, which is going to be the income statement, balance sheet, and cash flow statement. So you must download 2 years of the following financial statements for their selected company. These statements must come from Yahoo Finance or a company's 10K filing. So I'm going to show you, let's just kind of go through it, and then I'm going to show you how to find it. So what I want you to do is find me 2 years. So you're going to find screenshots, and in your report, after you get your cover page, you get everything. You're going to create in Word. Maybe I should pull that up right now. But you're going to create in Word, you're going to create the first section. And from there, you're going to just kind of follow these directions and do it. So, like for example, so when I'm going to do section 1. One thing you want to do, for example, when you're doing this, you know what, I might go back to this at the end of the project. We can go back to it, is that you have all these kind of headings that you can do. And what you want to do is you want to make that, that title, section 1, financial analysis, right? You want to make that a different heading. Maybe we'll go back to it. That's going to help our table content when we do it. So just keep that in mind. So I wouldn't do it now, because then never mind, you can do it now, because when you hit enter, it goes right back to the normal thing. This is a header, which is good, a heading. So what this is going to do, it's going to tell Word, if we create a table of content, that section 1 financial analysis, that's going to be the first thing in our table of content. So and it'll automatically create it, and if you select it, it will automatically take you there. So I just want to show that on there. So important requirements. Let's kind of go through this, and then we'll go to Yahoo Finance. Locate each ratio in Yahoo Finance. Search your company in Yahoo Finance, identify the pre-calculated ratio, current ratio, debt. And let's let you compare your own calculations. So what this is saying is, I want you to search Yahoo Finance, search for the data, current ratio, ROE, the already calculated. I want you to do some screenshots, and then I want you to go find what is return on equity, right? Is net income divided by equity. Now what you're going to do is you're going to go find net income. You're going to go find equity, take screenshots, show the calculation. You must calculate the ratios manually. Again, I want both ways. Do not just copy what it's already been calculated. I want you to do it yourself. All right, so this is what we got here. We got liquidity ratios, everything we've done in class, current ratio, quick ratio. I got the equation there. Profitability ratios, net income divided by revenue, return on assets, leverage, efficiency, ratio. And then underneath here, we got the report requirements, section 1. Make sure you have all these checked as you do that. So let's go to Yahoo Finance. And the example I typically do is Lowe's. So we'll go to Lowe's. And so I'll show you some information here. Maybe I should have done this in the introduction. That's the stock price. We got some data down here. This is going to be the summary page. Go to the left over here. That's the summary page on it. It shows you the open price of the stock. Things that you would need. Here's the beta. You're going to need that when we do the CAPM. When we find the required return for this stock, that's what we're going to need. There's the market cap. We may need that. PE ratio. And I'm going to have you guys calculate what's the PE ratios. Well, that's price divided by earnings. Well, look, everything's given to you right here. For example, earnings. When you want to think about in these ratios, price, that's the price up here. That's a per share. And look, earnings per share. So when you do price earnings ratio, that's price divided by earnings, you have to either do it either in per share or the total, which is market cap divided by total earnings. So I just want to make sure we understand that. What's price to earning ratio? Well, it's the price, that's per share stock, divided by earnings per share. That's what it is right there. 20.52 is 247.89 divided by 12.08. That's the price earnings ratio. Or you could have calculated, was the market cap, what's market cap? Well, that's the price multiplied times shares divided by total earnings. So you got to think about, and it gives you the same number. So I want to show that. Here's another thing you want to look at. When you're looking for your company, you're looking for a company that pays a dividend. This company doesn't pay a big dividend, but it's paying you 1.98% per year. So you can expect capital gains plus Lowe's is paying you some of a dividend. So I just want to show that how that works there. All right, let's go through some information here. I got statistics. What do we got here? Look at that. We got quarters. I got quarters for stats. We got enterprise value. We got market cap. Again, what is market cap? That's price multiplied times shares. Price to sales. Price to book. Enterprise value, EBITDA. It's already calculated all that. Again, if that's what you're looking for, you need to show that. You need to screenshot that. And then you need to find it. Price divided by earnings. And you need to do the calculations. Historical data. Here is open price. This is, you can find this in Excel as well. But there, it shows you all the pricing there. That's some historical data. You got profile. All right, let's go to financials. Now, the financials is our income statement. So here's the income statement. And if you look up here, you got the balance sheet. And then you got the cash flow statement. We got all three of those up here on it. We'll not let you download it, so you're going to take a screenshot. And just to show you, when I do a PC, I go to the snipping tool. And if you have to do a certain amount of years, hold on, I went on to my other screen. Here's my snipping tool. So he's typing snipping tool, comes up instantly. So what you want to do here is, if I want to take a screenshot of the income statement, this is what I want. As of, I want the, let's see if we can get a date in here. Do we have a date? It doesn't really have a date, but it does show this is the most current one. I'm going to go to new. So I type in snipping tool, that pops up. And then what I can do here, I'm going to put my cursor here, and I'm going to hit the left thing on my mouse pad, and then I can highlight it, and then let it go, and look what it becomes. It becomes a screenshot, and then I could hit, over here you got the edit part, right? This is a screenshot. I got the save as, if you want to save it, or just hit the copy one. So if you hit copy, you could put it into your Word doc. Let me put that into the Word doc that we have. And if I paste it, I'm going to Control V or Command V. And there you go. We got a screenshot as an image, which means I could shrink it. I can get larger. But this is what I want. I want 3 years. Look, it gave you 3 years. I can center it a little better. You can play around with the paragraph section on Word. It doesn't move as easy like if it was in Excel. It definitely does move better. But I wanted to show that. If you had to get the income statement, there you go. If I take my, it's not letting me scroll out. You might have to take 2 screenshots to get really everything. There's net income. And this hopefully looks kind of familiar to you. A couple things I want to show you here. So if I go to breakdown, and each company might be different in the naming, but it's like, I might say total sales, total revenue. If I do that down, there's operating revenue. There's costs of revenue. There's gross profit. What is that? It's that minus this. There's gross profit. Here's operating expense. Selling, general, and administration is like what we did. There's depreciation and amortization. I uncheck that. Look, even though it has another a drop down, it is the same value. The Lowe's doesn't have a separate one. Some companies might. There's the depreciation. They depreciate each year, and you see how it kind of changes. Operating income. What is that? That's gross profit minus our depreciation and our operating expenses. So as you see, you go down the line, and then we got operating income. Remember what that is? That's EBIT, and so on. So this is going to have everything you need. There's our interest income, interest expense. This is how it breaks it down. Net interest income. What is that? That's that minus this. So I kind of like how Lowe's does this, and I might change. I teach financial modeling. I might change it to look like this, so you get a really good idea how companies work. Now there's our interest before interest and taxes, right? That's operating income. You notice how it's a little different, but it's very similar to that. And the reason why they have it here is because they're redoing it down here after some things. And then they have to take out, that's earnings before this. And then you can find out the taxes, and then you can find the net income and all that. So I just want to show that. There's the income statement. Here's the balance sheet. You select this. Think about the ratios, right? Here's all the ratios you need. If I go to total, there's current assets. If I uncheck that, we got everything just like we did in chapter 3 and 4. You got the cash, you got the inventory. If I select the inventory, finished goods, they're identical. So it's really good to see what's going on here. Common stock equity, tons of information here. Total debt, there's total debt under the balance sheet. Let's go to the cash flow statement. Remember we got operating, investing, financing, and cash position. That's all three of those added up. And it breaks it down even further. Look at that. It's pretty cool stuff, how we could break it down and understand how these work. All right, so that's financials. You can go to analysis. Let's see what's there. You got some interesting calculations here. Earnings per share estimate. Actual, so you can see the comparison of what they estimated was going to happen. That's what the experts and Lowe's thought is going to happen. This is the actual. They actually produce better. That's what a company wants to do, and then their stock goes up. Interesting stuff there. But one thing I didn't see, and I mentioned it earlier, I don't see pre-calculated stuff. If you can't find it, that means you're gonna don't worry about it. It's a screenshot. If you can't find return on equity, stuff like that, you're just going to have to do the calculations. I have it in there. There you go on that. One thing I wanted to show you what you can do in Excel. So this is one of my Excel sheets. This is a very advanced mortgage calculator. So if you're interested in majoring in finance, this is kind of stuff I'm going to be teaching you later on. I spent months and months creating these, and almost like the class we're at. But anyways, what I want to show you is, you might have to look up in the Mac. I don't know how to do it, but if I did, let's say current assets is 5, current liabilities is 7, we'll say. And let's say I want to do the calculation. I want to say, well, current assets divided by current liabilities. Well, there's the calculation. Now, I expect you to label everything, make sure you do it properly. But I want to show you this. If you look at your keyboard on the PC, I'm not sure exactly with the Mac. I might have to get back to you on that one. There's a little squiggly line. You see the 1 on the keyboard, the exclamation point, next to it is a squiggly line. If I hit Control, this squiggly line, look what happens. Oh, kind of spread it out. It shows the calculations. It shows you how you did it, right? Here's all my calculations. I hit that Control squiggly line, and it actually shows the calculations in there. Now I'm going to hit it again, Control squiggly line, and it goes away. Well, that's the answer to it. But what I'm going to show you, if I go here and hit there, right? That's the answer. That's the answer, right? So I just said, That's the calculation. That's what you did. And all I did down here was said equals, I want that in this cell. So what I want to show you, if I hit control squiggly line, oh, it's not going to do that. So hold on a second, because I want to get the answer as well. What you might have to do, if you show the control squiggly line, it'll show me how you came up with the calculations, which I want to see, but I want to see your number. So you may have to type it in, 0.714, for example. You may have to type it in, label it. That's what it is. Now if I hit control squiggly line, right, I see it as L5 divided by L7, and there's the answer. You want to label it, make it look nice, right? You want to say this is the current ratio, and that's current assets, current liabilities. Well, that's the calculation I use. That's the answer. So that's an easy way to do it. Control squiggly line. If you don't know how to do the Mac, search on AI. It'll tell you right away. How do you show equations in Excel? That's a good one. Again, you don't have to do that. You might have to handwrite it. You could say this divided by that. You could type it up, right? In the answer, you could say current assets divided by current liabilities. So if you wanted that, that's fine. That's one way of doing it. But I just want to show you that. That might be a quick way. Is to do the control squiggly line to show those all those calculations. As you see, I do a lot of calculations in my advanced formula, which is a pretty cool thing to show. Again, control squiggly line there. So I just want to show that. Let me see if there's anything else I wanted to cover on this last section here. So you're going to find all that stuff, total liabilities, shareholders' equity. Again, I'm going to go back to that. Where's that found? Well, I'm going to go to the financials. I'm going to go to the balance sheet. Where's the balance sheet here? That's the second tab. And that's going to give me, so I got total debt. I got everything here. Total equity and gross minorities, something. There's stockholders' equity. That's it right there. 14,231. They're negative. They have negative on there. But still, you got to do those. That means they got a lot of debt. Lowe's has a lot of debt. That's what it means. But there you go. So you can find all the calculations there. And after you're done with section 1, make sure you do everything. Nicely put it in there. And make sure you label it. I understand what you're saying with the equations.